B2B advertising, platforms for paid wins. B2B advertising isn't optional anymore. It's your first sales touch. If you're still treating B2B advertising like run some ads and hope for leads, you'll get outpaced fast. The modern buying committee does most of its evaluation without you in the room, and that shifts the power toward whoever shows up consistently in their research flow. Paid media is how you influence the shortlist before your SDRs ever get a reply. Analyses of Gartner and TrustRadius data suggest roughly 80% of the B2B buying journey now happens without direct vendor contact. That means the first impressions come from what buyers see on LinkedIn, what they search on Google, and what follows them around via retargeting, not what your AE says on a discovery call. Your outbound motion is still essential, but it's often competing over the final slice of attention. At SalesHive, we treat B2B advertising as a coordinated extension of sales development, especially when you're running sales outsourcing or leaning on an outsourced sales team to drive pipeline. When paid and outbound operate as one outbound sales agency-style motion, ads warming accounts, SDRs following up fast, you don't just get leads. You get higher intent conversations that convert into real opportunities. Why paid wins now? Money is flooding the channels and buyers pick early. The competitive bar has moved because the spend has moved. Global B2B marketing spend is projected to hit about $138 billion in 2024, up roughly 12% year over year. So more teams are buying the same attention and driving up costs. If your ads look like everyone else's, you're essentially donating budget to the market. Most of your competitors are already present. About 67% of B2B companies use paid channels to promote content, and roughly 85% run social media ads. Whether or not you advertise, your prospects are still being educated by someone's ads, offers, and case studies. The practical question becomes how to earn attention, not just buy impressions. The payoff for being early is massive. In a 2023 survey, 84% of B2B buyers said the first vendor they contacted ultimately won the business. So top of mind is not a soft metric, it's a win rate lever. When we combine paid visibility with cold calling services and SDR follow-up, we're intentionally trying to become that first call. Pick platforms by funnel job, not popularity. A common mistake is blasting the same creative across every channel and hoping the algorithm figures it out. Winning B2B advertising is clearer than that. Each platform should own a specific job in your funnel, tied to how your team actually sells. If you don't define the job, you end up reporting on CTR and MQL volume while pipeline stays flat. LinkedIn should be the default for most mid-market and enterprise teams because it aligns to how buying committees behave. It's expected to drive about 58% of B2B promotions, and nearly 80% of B2B marketers choose it as their primary content platform. So it's the closest thing to table stakes in B2B distribution. But it wins best when you treat it as always-on air cover that makes your outbound and SDR agency efforts feel familiar, not random. Google search is different. It's demand capture, not demand creation. Don't spread budget across hundreds of keywords. Own the 10 to 20 terms that match your ICP's buying language and your team's closing ability. Then route leads with an SLA measured in minutes. When we help clients connect ads to outbound sequences, including cold email agency-style follow-up, we map every click to a next action an SDR can execute. How to implement air cover plus outbound without wasting spend. Start with an account list that your sales team would actually pursue if ads didn't exist. Build your audiences from your SDR ICP, titles, seniority, industries, company size, and exclusions. Then mirror that same list in your outbound sales development agency workflows. This is where list building services matter. Targeting errors get expensive fast when LinkedIn clicks often run $8 to $10 in the US and can climb higher in competitive segments. Next, design messaging around real sales conversations, not vague marketing themes. Every ad should answer the question your cold callers and SDRs hear daily. Why should I care right now? When the ad and the outbound touch use the same pain, benchmark, and outcome language, prospects feel one coherent journey instead of being repitched from scratch. Finally, wire the signals into execution. If your SDRs can't see who clicked, watched, or downloaded, you're paying for invisible intent. So push engagement into your CRM and create a simple task queue for hot ad click follow-up. Teams that pair LinkedIn outreach services with fast phone and email outreach often see warmer connect-to-meeting rates because the first call isn't truly cold. If your SDRs don't see ad engagement signals in the CRM, you're paying for attention you'll never convert. What good looks like? Measure pipeline, not platform vanity metrics. Clicks and CPL are fine for diagnostics, but they're not the scoreboard. In complex B2B, a $300 LinkedIn lead that reliably becomes a $40K opportunity can outperform a cheap form fill that never answers the phone. We recommend reporting cost per opportunity, cost per account influenced, and payback period alongside CTR and CPC. Benchmarks reinforce the point. LinkedIn shows 66% adoption among B2B go-to-market teams, and in one 2025 benchmark set, is the only major channel with positive ROAS at 113% versus 78% for Google Search and 29% for Meta. Those numbers won't match every company, but they highlight why platform selection should be tied to your economics, not your preferences. If your ACV and close rates can support it, LinkedIn is often the most reliable engine for account-level influence. This is also where sales and marketing alignment becomes operational, not philosophical. Define what qualifies as an opportunity, require consistent source tagging, and review outcomes in weekly revenue meetings, not just in a marketing dashboard. When a B2B sales agency model works, it's because the paid team and the SDR team agree on what good pipeline actually means. Common mistakes that quietly kill B2B paid performance. The most expensive mistake is confusing reach with relevance. Teams often over-target broad audiences to get volume, then complain that LinkedIn is too expensive or Google leads are low quality. Tight targeting and a clear offer usually beat clever creatives or big budgets, especially when your buyers are already seeing competitor ads from that 85% of companies running social ads. The second mistake is slow follow-up. Search clicks are scarce and high intent, but they decay quickly. If your workflow sends a lead into generic nurture and an SDR calls 2 days later, you're paying premium rates for stale demand. Treat paid leads like inbound hand raisers, fast routing, clear qualification, and a single owner accountable for contact attempts. The third mistake is misaligned handoffs between paid and outbound. If your cold email agency messaging says one thing, your landing page says another, and your SDR script says a third, prospects feel bait and switch, even if none was intended. The fix is simple: one narrative, one problem framing, and one set of claims your sales team can repeat confidently. Optimization moves that separate average teams from top performers. On LinkedIn, optimize for account penetration and buying committee coverage, not just leads. Use always-on campaigns to keep your category point of view in market while your SDR agency team runs outbound sequences into the same account list. If your outreach references the exact report, benchmark, or offer the prospect saw in ads, it turns cold outreach into a continuation of a conversation. On Google, earn the right to win high-intent terms. Focus on the small set of keywords that map to real projects, pricing, implementation, alternative, and specific problem terms, and build landing pages that match that intent with crisp proof and a direct next step. The average B2B Google Ads conversion rate sits around 2.23%, but top advertisers reach 11.7% plus, and that gap is usually landing page clarity, offer design, and keyword discipline. Across channels, tighten the loop with reporting and plays. Pipe key engagement events into your CRM. Add simple hot signal sequences for your cold calling team, and evaluate channels by opportunity creation and win rates. When we run integrated programs, we're not trying to win an ad auction. We're trying to win the first real conversation and keep it moving. Next steps. Build a coordinated, paid plus SDR engine that produces meetings. Costs are rising because the market is crowded, but the opportunity is still there for teams that execute with discipline. Buyers are self-educating, so your brand needs to be present early, consistently, and in the language your ICP uses. If you can become the vendor they already recognize when they're ready to talk, you put the odds in your favor, especially when 84% of buyers say the first vendor they contact wins. Operationally, we recommend starting with one segment and one coordinated motion. Define your ICP, build your target accounts, run LinkedIn air cover, layer in search for high-intent capture, and retarget across social to stay present. Then connect it to execution. Create SLAs, route leads, and give SDRs scripts and templates that mirror the ads. This is where a strong sales development agency process matters more than any single platform setting. If your internal team can't test, optimize, and follow up fast enough, pairing paid with a specialist can be the fastest path to paid wins. SalesHive combines paid media with sales outsourcing, SDR execution, and B2B cold calling services, so ad-driven intent turns into booked meetings, not just reports. If you're evaluating options, it's worth reviewing how teams structure their outsourced sales team, what they promise in SLAs, and how transparently they report pipeline impact, including what you'll find when researching SalesHive reviews, SalesHive pricing, or even SalesHive.com and SalesHive careers for how we build our team.